Assembly, please. Thanks for coming and to watch the voices of OT on Onia Digital Media. My name is Paul Mensa Mikey, so the lead Babu. You can call me Paul Lingua in short. And if you're new to this channel, kindly subscribe and turn on the notification button so that whenever we drop new content, you'll be the first to get notified. Well, in case you do not know, the Voices of OT is a program segment aired on Onia Digital Media that is designed purposely for mirroring happenings in the OT region. Attention please. Well, lend me your ears or listen up as I bring to you in today's episode why we think Dambai residents are cursed by Akufo Addo and the NPP government. Well, it will be recalled that 5 years down the lane, after President Akufo Addo named Dambai as the regional capital of OT, a lot of people took onto the street to jubilate, to show their excitement and their gratitude towards what the president has done. And why were they happy? Yes, they were thinking that this will bring development to their doorsteps, will bring jobs to their people. But unfortunately, it turned out to be something different other than what they thought. Today, we bring to you some of the things that we think that indeed it's rather a curse and not a blessing. So if you are curious to know why we think Dambai is rather cursed, or residents of Dambai are cursed and not being blessed as a result of giving this place the regional capital, grab your seats while I dive deep into it. Now, on the list, do you know that Dambai has no regional hospital? Yes, you've heard that right. There is no hospital in the regional capital of OT. What they have is health centers. And whenever there is critical or emergency case, people are being referred to Raura and Nkwanta. And that is so sickening. Now, let's assume that someone is sick and that person needs emergency care or attention in a hospital. And the person has been referred to these places. He or she has to be carried to either Raura or Nkwanta. And these places are far from Dambai. So by the time the person gets there, the person by now or by then will be sent to the afterlife. The person will die on the way. And it's so sick in the situation. Now, let's move away from there. The roads, in the township of Dambai are not tarred. And whenever there comes Harmattan, you see dust all over. And whenever it rains, water floods all over. Trust me, people, government workers, farmers find it difficult even getting out of the comfort of their zone to go to their places of work. And we've gotten some shots from these streets that are so bad, streets that people cannot even use. This is a regional capital. It's so sickening that a place named a regional capital has no roads being tarred. Only the tarred road that you see is the major road. The rest are untarred, and it's so sickening. Potholes left, right, and no one seems to care about it. Now, away from that, do you know that Dambai, there are no network offices? MTN office is not in Dambai. Telisa office is not in Dambai. Airtel Tigo, even owned by government or government having a share in it, has no office in Dambai. If you have a case where you need to visit an office of this network, then you either go to Krachi or Nkwanta. and that is sickening. Who will abandon his work or whatsoever that the person is engaged with, or something that could bring food on his table, to travel as far as to these places to have his problem solved in the cases of the SIM card? Now, away from that too, there is another baffling issue that we think is also troubling a lot of people, most especially those that are not native of this place. Perhaps it could be government workers or those that feel like coming to stay here, to do their personal stuff. Yes, why am I saying this? The rent rate or the rent prices in Dambai, it's so high. And why that? Good. Before it was given a regional capital, it was not like that. So having had the regional capital, people thought it was that yes, a lot of people will now come to stay here. So they have to peg rent prices to the level that others are taking in other places like Kumasi, Accra, Takoradi, and those developed areas in the country. And that is sickening. Having people paying 4,000 for accommodation, people paying 6,000, 5,000. In fact, it's so sickening. Yes, and we think it's a curse. Now, let's move away from that. There is high standard of living. And before it was given the regional capital, per our checks, it is established that people were not spending much on food. They could buy with little or small money and use it for overly long. Whereas it stands now, a ball of kinky, a ball of banku is pegged the same price as that of Accra and Kumasi. Come to think of it, the sad thing about these things is that, or the funny thing is that, there are a lot of farmers here and few of government workers who wouldn't have time to cook. So at times I ask myself, so would people that self make money out of it if their prices are so high? Because a lot of people, cook in their homes and prefer to eat that than going out to buy, which is expensive. So I was even thinking that people could reduce prices of their food at least so that they could also earn something out of it and not to be thinking of making too much out of it. So one other thing that is so baffling and shocking is that during dry season, people are suffering from acute water shortage. Yes, you've heard that right. When we have Oti River running through this place, students had to move out of their dormitory in search of water. And that is sickening. There is no Ghana Water Company Limited here to at least bring water to the homes of those that can afford. Students here are suffering. When it's dry season, no water in the dormitory. Their pipes, taps are all dried. No water. And water is running through Dambai. A resource that is highly needed in some parts of this world. We have it here, but government isn't making any good use of it. Well, it appears that no one cares about what is happening in this country, in this regional capital, because no one seems to be talking about it. No one takes it up. The MPs, the ministers, it's so sickening that we have regional capital here and you don't see a true reflection of what a regional capital should be. But I ask myself, when President Akufo Addo and his ministers or government were considering giving here or creating new regional capitals, what was their, their thought or their map out plans? Because a regional capital, at least if for not giving it anything at all, should have better road connectivity, regional hospital, and some basic things at least to cushion it, to a level that if anyone comes there, the person will feel that yes, indeed, this is a regional capital. Maybe They gave regional capital to Dambai just because they wanted vote. And not only Dambai, but then other areas. And it's clear, it's glaring that there is a reason for which this government actually did that. Well, the dew of the day has crept upon our thought, and nature must obey its necessity. This is where we draw the curtains on today's episode. Until we meet again in our next video, my name is Paul Mensah Makiso Dele Babo.